Mozart's Piano Sonata No. 2 in F major, played by Erika Chun. Her audience is computer scientist Gerhard Widmer. He's trying to find out how living dynamic music arises out of a sequence of lifeless notes. His laptop will be helping him. It can't hear or feel, but it can store data. The data comes from this special grand piano made by Bösendorfer. Crammed full of electronic chips and sensors, it converts the lively music into a stream of code, measuring the volume and duration of every note. In combination, the two devices can reproduce the sonata, player piano style, exactly as Erika Chun played it.
We want to measure how pianists play music, exactly how loudly, how long, when they play the notes, what they do with the pedal, and so forth. This piano measures all that precisely. The fact that it can play back is just a sideline, which isn't all that interesting to us.
Nur am Rande von Interesse ist.
Widmer teaches at the University of Linz in Austria, but he collects his data in Vienna, the city where Mozart created his greatest works. And this is where the data is analyzed, at the Austrian Research Institute for Artificial Intelligence in the country's capital. The raw data is Mozart's sonatas played by a number of Viennese pianists like Erika Chun. The notes and the curves will allow the laptop to probe the secrets of individual musical performances. Its voyage of discovery starts with Mozart's notes. The laptop plays them precisely as written, and always in the same way. Real music, living music, sounds different. There's something missing here.
Each time it's different. I make different mistakes each time. I might also do different good things. Every time I play, it's different than it was a moment ago. And I think that's what's human about it.
But what exactly do humans do that's different? Widmer wrote a number of computer programs that could learn. They compare Mozart's notes on paper to the data from the Viennese pianists. The result? People may play the notes as written, but then again, they may not. Even so, the computer discovered rules for describing the variations.
I can give you a very simple, typical example. When you have a certain melodic situation where there's a sequence of short notes which ends on a long note, most pianists will tend to conclude the sequence in a particular way, with a certain hesitation, roughly like this. There's a little hesitation at the conclusion, which tells the listeners this is the end of a particular musical passage.
The scientists in Vienna went even further, discovering a number of similarities in the way people interpret music. Now they're trying to discover the differences. What makes the Barenboim touch different from the style of, say, Arthur Rubinstein? The team had to use recordings of the great pianists on CD. Sometimes the computer had problems determining the precise measure. It needed a bit of human help. But finally, the computer was able to show the stylistic differences. This digital worm illustrates the result. When the music gets louder, the worm crawls higher. When the music gets slower, it moves to the left. This is Barenboim playing a Schubert impromptu. And this is Arthur Rubinstein. Widmer's programs can identify a pianist's style when confronted with several different pieces.
We've carried out experiments with Mozart sonatas. We trained our computer by playing at Mozart sonatas performed by many different pianists. Barenboim, Pires, Uchida, and so forth. And when you play the computer a new piece, a new recording, there's a relatively high probability it'll identify the pianist correctly, just based on the way the piece is played.
The secret of living music. Widmer's laptop has yet to learn how to play like the great pianists that Erika Chun aspires to, but at the end of this investigation, it did almost sound like a musician.